Hi everyone, it's Ellen, and in my junk journal today I'm working with these beautiful printables. So I'm just going to show you these pages here. So this is from a shop on Etsy called the Junk Journal Studio, and this is the Autumn Wonder Kit, and it's stunning, and there's so much of it as well. You may notice in some of my pages the colours are a little bit dulled. That's because I was running out of ink, and also I forgot to set my printer to ink in high quality, so that makes a difference to some of the colours. And I was going to print them all again, but there's so many pages that would waste quite a bit of ink, so I'm going to use them anyway. They still go together really nicely. They're still beautiful, but I do always recommend printing your printables in a high quality format. They will always come out better and brighter. So yeah, I've got loads of things I want to use here, and the reason I actually got this printable kit is because I'm journaling about when we went to get our pumpkins last October, and this kit it's full of pumpkins and autumnal things, so it's absolutely perfect. So because there's so much to work with here, what I thought I would do is go through my pages and pick out some of the things I know I definitely want to work with. So anything with pumpkins on it, basically. So I've trimmed all of that out, and then off camera I just fussy cut everything out because I thought you don't want to watch me doing all of that. That's not necessarily very exciting. And one of my favourite pieces from this kit is this skinny long envelope. It's beautiful, and yeah, absolutely love this. So I've trimmed all that out, and the wonderful thing about this kit as well is they give you sort of the liner part of the envelope, so you don't have that stark white showing. You can stick the liner on the top, and then it's just a really nice added detail. I'm really impressed with that because I'm going for a vintage autumnal vibe. I don't want the stark white paper to be showing, so I've folded all the lines of my envelope, and then I'm going to stick in that liner. Obviously because I cut these out myself, they're not perfect, so I trim it down once I've stuck that liner in, and then I can fold up my envelope, and look how pretty this is. I absolutely love it. So I've gone around all of the edges with Tim Holtz Distress ink in Vintage Photo. It also helps to hide any of the white that might be peeking through. And then I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and sew along the two flaps that sort of attach the envelope together, just to reinforce that a little bit more. And I love to sew in my junk journal, so it creates a lovely effect as well. And I've just sewn around it with a dark green ink because I thought that would go quite nicely with the autumnal vibes that we have going on in this video. Another lovely thing is they include the insert for your envelope, so it's the perfect size to it's a perfect journaling card size to fit into that envelope. And I'm just deciding now where I want my envelope to go because I don't want to cover up too much of the design because it's so lovely. So I'm going to stick it on the left hand page with just some double-sided tape on just the flap of the envelope so that it can flap open and closed, and that way you can see more of the lovely design. Like I said, I don't want to cover that up, it's so pretty. So yeah, I'm just going to get that stuck down on my page, and I've got another piece here that's a pocket piece. I know I want that to go on the right hand page so I can slide something into that. I'm going to just reinforce my envelope with some staples, and then I can start working on that pocket. So I'm going to ink around the edges again with Tim Holtz Distress ink in Vintage Photo, and I also sew along the top line of that pocket with some more of that green thread. So because I printed these out on quite thin card, so I want to reinforce that a little bit before I sew through it, so I just add some sellotape to the back. It just sturdies it up a little bit. I do that quite often with pockets and things because they're going to be it's going to get some wear and tear when I'm sliding things in and out of it. So yeah, I've just reinforced that a bit. I've also stuck just some lined paper to the back of that insert for the envelope, and I've added some lace to the top of that as well, so that I've got room to journal on the back of that. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to add my journaling, and I wanted to decorate the back a little bit more as well, so I've taken one of these gorgeous sunflowers, which works so nicely because we also picked a sunflower when we went pumpkin picking, so that works really nicely. And then I've added a pumpkin to that as well. Other than, you know, pumpkin picking and Halloween, I find pumpkins quite hard to use, so I go pumpkin mad on this page just to make sure I can use all of those beautiful pieces. And yeah, I've just journaled on the back of that, and I will also stamp my date. I thought about adding something to the front of that journal card, but I decided I liked it as it was, and that's that finish, so I've just popped that into the envelope. Now I want to work on something to put into my pocket, and I've got this bigger black and white photo of the three of us at the pumpkin patch, so I want to add that to this. It's a bingo card with a lovely owl and some corn, and it's really sweet, so I wanted to make sure I got that on the page. So I'm going to stick that on the back of that bingo card. I'm going to stick my photo onto the back of that bingo card, but my photo is smaller, so there was a white outline, so I've used one of the beautiful pattern papers from this printable collection just to back that bingo card, and then I can stick my photo on top. There were a lot more pattern papers with this collection, but as I was running out of ink, and it's probably the thing that I use least, I only printed off one or two of the ones that I absolutely loved. I've left the others, and I can print them off another time and use them another time. That's the beauty with printables. You once you've bought them, you can print them off as many times as you want. I love that about printables. So yeah, I'm going to add a little tab to the side of that journal card as well, just because it's got those pumpkins on and it matches the pumpkin envelope that I used. So I've just stapled that onto the front of the bingo card, and I will stick my photo over the other side to hide the back of my staples once I've refilled my stapler. And yeah, I think the black and white photo onto that background, onto the orange background, just looks so lovely and autumnal, so I was pleased I did that. I did also back my photo with some tissue paper, just a black and white striped tissue paper. I don't know why, but it always strikes me as Halloweeny. This tissue paper, I mean, it's just black and white striped, but I love the effect of this with the bright orange from the printables. So I add this black and white tissue paper in a few different places. So my photo's stuck down, and you get a lot of these sort of label pieces in this collection, and I've added one to the back of that tab that says Hello Fall, and I thought I would just add a teeny tiny little label to the bottom left hand corner of my photo. There's lots of labels in this collection as well, which I'm a big fan of. I love a label, so I've inked around the edges of that, stuck it to the bottom of my photo, and I just wrote my loves, and that's that piece, that's that pull out piece of the pocket all finished. So next up, I'm using probably my favourite piece from this whole collection. It's a vintage advertisement piece for pumpkins, and I don't know what it is. I just love this piece, so I really wanted to add this onto the page. I'm not doing anything fancy with it. I'm literally going to stick it onto the page because it's just beautiful as it is, just as a decorative piece. So I stick that down with some double-sided tape to the top of that page, and then I've still got so many photos. So I need to find a way to get all of these on these pages because I don't want to get rid of any of these photos. I love them. So I've got a big 4x6 photo, and it's a collage of 6 different photos. So I'm just, to save myself some time and energy, I'm just backing that whole collage with some more of that black and white tissue paper, and then I'm going to stick that onto the left hand page where I've got that big space to use up. So yeah, there's just a way of getting lots of photos on without making too much work for myself. And then once I've stuck that collage down, I will just add some of the fussy cut pumpkins to the bottom, after sort of inking around the edges and everything, just to tie everything in together. I've then cut another 4x6 collage into half, so I've got a strip of 3 photos in a line, and I'm going to back these with each other, and just slip them into the pocket as well. Again, I want to get all of these photos on. I don't want to get rid of any, so this was a nice way to add some more, and I've got room in that pocket to add more if I want, so I thought that was perfect. And that just sits behind my sort of pull-out piece that I created. Then the next page in my journal, I'm going to just carry on with the pumpkin picking stuff. And this page is a little bit plain, and I love that pattern paper that I got from this collection. So I'm going to back most of the page with that beautiful pattern paper. And I could just use glue stick to do this, but I wanted to make sure it's really secure, so I've added lots of double-sided tape. I trimmed it down slightly, so part of the background paper is still showing, just because I find it easier to get into my journal this way. And yeah, I thought about working on the right hand page as well, but I really didn't need that much space. I've got enough space with the left hand page, so I'm just going to chop up my photos a little bit. One of the photos in this collage was a duplicate, so I can get rid of that one. So I've only got 5 photos to add to this page. And again, I've kept them in their little collage strips, and I will just add them onto the pattern paper. I back them all with some white, just something a bit different. I like to border my photos with something, so if I don't know what to use, I'll just border them with some white printer paper. So I've got my 2 photo strips stuck down now, and then I remembered I really wanted to use these sort of Scrabble tile style stickers, and I wasn't sure where to put them, but then I thought they would go really nicely across my pumpkin envelope, so that's what I'm going to do with them. And I just wrote out PYO for pick your own pumpkins. So I was really happy with how that looks. I don't think I've done that yet actually. I'm working back on my final page. I do this when I'm working on a few different pages. I will flick back and forth between my pages to make sure firstly everything's cohesive, to make sure you know, it's all going well, it's going nicely together, and I'll have new ideas while I'm working on another page about what I want to do the previous page. So yeah, I can do this a little bit. I'm adding a few more of those label pieces to my final page. I've added fall harvest and sunflowers just as little tabs, and then I add another little label just to add a little annotation to my photos. So there were these hay bales we could sit on to take photos, and Theo just kept eating the hay. He's still like this now. He'll just put everything in his mouth even now, and yes, we've got some really cute photos of him doing that. Again, inking around all the edges of all of my ephemera pieces, and then to the bottom of that page I've also stuck a bucket of apples. We didn't get any apples, but I just think it looks really sweet. Oh, I did do the title piece. So yeah, those are my pages all finished, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, thank you very much for being here. Bye everyone.